Um, it's movie review time, okay? And we gonna jump straight into it because they jump straight into it. This movie I have for you today is called Girl at the Window, okay? Um, IMBD gave it a rating of 4.3 out of 10. I probably would have gave it a at least 7.8, okay? All right. Now the quality of the movie, it was it was it was nice, but it wasn't great, okay? Like the quality of the visuals, how it showed up, the crispiness, the freshness of it, the look. Now, the cinematography, that was more like, yeah, it was very decent, but it wasn't perfect, okay? Very decent, but it wasn't perfect. Like, I like some of its transitionings and how it went to the next scene and stuff on some parts. I did. Um, I watched the movie on Tubi. Okay, another Tubi movie. Um, but yeah, let's just get into the movie. So basically, it was about Amy, right? It was about Amy, and her mom had moved to a new city or whatever. Um, I couldn't catch the when they moved or exactly where they moved. They might have been there like 5 to 6 months into the movie, like when it started, into the move. I mean, of when the movie started, but yeah, I couldn't catch that part. But I know it started with her being newer in the town, Amy, the girl, okay, and the main character, okay, and her friends was going missing, and um, there was a person that was killing kids or taking kids from her school, and they were going missing and dying or whatever, right? And that person was called the Clockwork Killer. Okay? That was the killer's name the town or the news, whatever, gave the guy. Okay? But Amy, she she was intrigued by this or whatever. And of course, who wouldn't, like your classmates, your peers that you sit next to in class are going missing, So that makes sense. Especially for her age, or she probably was between the age of 13 to 17, 16, whatever. So it was like coinciding with when she was realizing her classmates and stuff was going missing. She also was realizing the neighbor next door he had a mysterious truck or whatever. And the neighbor dude, he ended up being the mom's boyfriend, okay? But we're going to get into that. So the classmates are going missing. And then she's noticing that the man next door, like around the time the killings are happening, he has this mysterious truck, and he's going missing at the same time or right before the murders and returning. And he has this weird shed, right? And she's wondering what he's doing in that shed. And Amy was writing the times down he was leaving and coming back. And when they would show it on the news, she would try to put her two and two together with her information she was collecting and the information the news was putting out or dishing out. Okay. Now, after one of her friends or close associates or whatever went missing, that's when it was eating at Amy the most. She like, all right, I need to see what's into this shed. Like, what this guy got going on, what's in this shed. So one day she watched him leave from her window. He was the neighbor, okay? So the only thing that split them was like this line of bushes or tall tree type bushes on how you could connect to each other's house. But she stayed upstairs with her mom at their place, right? So she could see from her window, she could see above those bushes, right? But on ground level, you can't really see the other person, your neighbor's house, because of those bushes. They were tall, like, right? But she could see what was going on with him, if that makes sense, from her top stairs window, from her bedroom window. Okay? So she went downstairs, went across the bushes while he was gone, right? This towards like a fourth or third into the movie, okay? He was eating at her. Now she's at his place while he's gone. And she was stepping up on the window, and she was stepping up on a wheelbarrow, right? A wheelbarrow. To see what was in the window of the shed, okay? And she was almost at, like, she was almost at her peak of seeing up in there. She almost could see up in there, and that's when the neighbor dude that she thought was killing her classmates, that's when he came out. And the wheelbarrow slipped from underneath her foot. She fell. The wheelbarrow rolled. He tumbled over it and fell. That was a funny part in the movie. There's a lot of sound effects and stuff. They really made that part. But yeah, and she ended up running off. And then he was running towards her or whatever, but she got up. She went past the bushes up into the front door of her house and ran upstairs or whatever. And then her mom ended up coming, and she was like, the neighbor guy's seen you. He's wondering if you was okay. But, and y'all, I'll tell y'all right here and now, I already pretty much figured it wasn't him that was doing the killings and that was taking them classmates of hers and stuff, right? I already pretty much figured it. How? Because, well, I'm good at inner, septing, or, whatever you want to call it, or foreshadowing. I knew by how quick the movie had started that it pretty much wasn't who Amy thought was killing. That makes sense. I pretty much knew. Like, they started the movie right in, and you know how that go. Like, usually first person you think is not going to be the person, especially if we got a whole movie left to get through. Y'all know how it be like on Law and Order, where it never be that first or second person. And by the end of the show or movie, it's a whole nother person, right? But I pretty much knew who it was after that anyway. But I only had two thoughts of who it could be, and it was that second person. Because, again, guys, it wasn't too many characters and stuff. But, yeah, and it wasn't too many areas that they did scenes in. So, okay, back to where Amy ran up in her upstairs to her room after she's trying to see what's in the guy's shed, and he comes out of his house and catches her, right? She's up in her room. Her mom comes. She's like, the neighbor was trying to see if you're okay. What the bam. Now, I guess before the mom came upstairs, her and the neighbor was kind of getting cool or whatever, which is a little skeptical on the mom part. Like, this guy just told you about him catching your daughter or whatever, and you already talking to him before you're going upstairs to check on your daughter, right? And this how I know this, because the next day or whatever, or a few days or a couple days went by, and then she's like, no, it probably was the next day. She's like, yeah, me and the guy's name is Chris, okay? So the neighbor who's skeptical, who's suspect that Amy is skeptical about, who think is the killer, his name is Chris, okay? So by the next day or two, him and the mom are cool while Amy is still thinking he's suspect. But Amy ain't put that, she ain't put her mom onto that yet, okay? She ain't gave her mom that ID or put the ID in her mom's head yet, okay? She just still skeptical on her own while Chris and the mom are growing a bond. Make sense? Okay, so then long story short, Amy's still watching Chris. and still thinking that he's the one. Probably a few events, or maybe more like a couple, one or two more events, and then now she's at his crib again. Yeah, cause y'all know kids though. Yeah, she's a teenager. She got one of them minds or whatever. And also, speaking of Amy's mind, she's also having visions or illusions or thoughts of her dad and throughout the movie, and that's with the freak accident that happened with him. He died or whatever. So she already has her own like PTSD or mental issues. I don't want to say it's that strong. So more like PTSD from that situation, and they play like episodes or scenes in her head. And that's also kind of why the mom, when Amy finally laid it onto her mom that she felt like it was Chris, why she wasn't just grasping at what her daughter was saying and wasn't all the way believing her. Okay? So yeah, so 3 more incidents happen where Amy like, you know what? I know it's Chris. I know it's him. Shoot, I know it's him. And she back at his place, right? Now, this is the point she's telling her friend, her closest friend, her best friend or whatever, like she think it's him, right? And yeah, they go to the house together. Her friend's boyfriend goes missing, which Chris didn't kill. The person who ended up being the killer did. Then Amy thinks her friend goes missing just because while her friend boyfriend goes missing, why he got killed, which they don't know he got killed in that moment. But in the moment, her friend's phone shuts off, so she thinking she got killed too. But Amy wasn't too far off, okay? How they was trying to make her seem like she was crazy and stuff, she was not too far off with her ideas and stuff, or the stuff she was coming up with. That's basically how she ended up being the one running into the situations or running into the killer. Running into the situations that led up to finding the killer, or her actually being the one that found the killer. Whatever, however you want to foresee it. So, yeah, she's telling the police now, like, dang, they got my friend too. What the hell? The police like, Amy, your friend right here with me. But the friend boyfriend did go missing. So that's what I mean. She wasn't too far off, okay? Now, a friend goes missing. Maybe another situations happening, or slight situations, probably that aren't that important. But one of Amy's friends, probably close associates or whatever, goes missing. Okay. Now Amy is back at Chris's house. Okay, She's back at Chris's house. All right, and yeah, she hops in the van, his mysterious van that Chris has, and she follows him somewhere. She ends up getting trapped in there. Then, basically, while she's trapped in Chris's van, right? Why Chris ends up stumbling upon one of the reasons why Amy thought it was Chris, she was hearing screams from his shed, like from his place. That's why she was so sure. Which that was right on. But this is where you're going to find out it wasn't Chris. So while Amy is trapped in Chris's van, he's stumbling upon the hidden passage or whatever underneath his deck of where the killer or whatever is really storing these people. Right? But when he gets himself from out of the tunnel or whatever, is the same time Amy's like getting out of the van, or he lets Amy out of the van, and then it happens so quickly. This part happened within 15 to 20 seconds. So much happened within that little time frame, but them is very key parts. So he comes up, he hears somebody in the van, he lets Amy out, but it's right there where the door is, and they come out together, and that's when the police is there. And it was it was not a freak accident, but it was he ended up getting killed off of like momentum and anxiety. The officer killed him, like how it looked though, the officer wasn't wrong. How it looked like what Amy had been telling the officer and how they came out that shed. It looked like Chris was the killer trying to kill Amy in that moment, but they was wrong, and the movie continued. Okay, and that's where actually, yeah, they was wrong. So, and that's actually where that's where I'm gonna cut it. Okay, y'all need to go watch this movie. It was good. Okay, it was suspenseful. Um, it it really, yeah. I stayed with my eyes glued to the screen for majority of it. It had me like, nah. But nah, for real. It's good. Go watch it. It was a good one, okay? It was a good one. It's a nice thriller. Um, was it 2022? Yeah, 2022 one. I already said I watched it on Tubi. But yeah, it was a good one. Go watch it. Go watch it. Yeah, but just know Chris is not the killer, okay? Chris is not the clockwork killer, okay? He did not kill them kids at Amy's school. All right, so her mama boyfriend got killed for no reason. Go watch it to find out who the killer is, okay? And then y'all come back and tell me what y'all think. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this, and put your thoughts in the comments, okay? All right, thank you guys.
I came to win, to fight, to conquer, to thrive.